Don't intimidate me like that. I'm Cinematic Kitchen की marketing. Cinematic Kitchen की marketing एडमिन का रखे हुए दिखा.
Oh my God, अब क्या हुआ? मेरा कोई भाई बहन यूके में रहता है? हाँ.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Saurav.
Yeah.
Hi, Saurav.
Hi.
Yeah. So let's give 1 minute for Amrit just to join.
I think he joined.
Yeah, already joined.
Okay, fine. Okay. So about the question that you have asked, so let me park that question and then so I will be starting my session. Okay. So see here, okay, so where we have stopped, okay, so if there are multiple, okay, if there are multiple that we have, okay, so and how can I do that, right? So here if you go here, right, so go to the data flows, okay, in the data flows, okay, so
On is it recording?
yes, it's regarding, so let me take one thing, okay, so update data flow. Right, when you have multiple video, oh, sorry, this is not the data flow, right? Okay, okay, when there is a multiple things that are coming into the picture, and then so you need to have a kind of an this thing. So here the data flow, right? So let me open the Adobe Analytics as an example. Okay, um, okay, let me take this as an example. Okay. So you will be creating a custom schema, and then so you will be doing all kinds of a chunks or something likewise, which you will be doing that. Okay. So if you click on next, right? So here you have row filter. Okay. Next you have column filter. Okay. Column filter is something like so where you can able to have a multiple identities that you can able to take it forward. For example, say advertisement data, right? So in the advertisement data, so you have multiple identities, right? So in this multiple identities, I want to have a filtration. Okay. So I just want to have a filtration on these identities. Okay. So for example, the DC, ID, advertiser, campaign, creative ID, creative URL. Okay. And so you have first qualities. Okay. So whatever the things are, right? So whatever the columns that you have, so you will be just clicking on the filtration and then clicking on next. Okay, then what happens in the sense the data flow, okay, will be filtering these values, okay, whatever the exceptions that you have provided, right, only you it will be filtering that, and then so you will be getting that. Okay, define the row and column level filtering and then sending the real-time customer profile. Use row level filtering to apply condition, okay, and use column level to exclude from the profile injection. Okay, so this is what, and filtering rules doesn't apply the data sent to the data lake, but the data will go. But okay, if you want to restrict anything, so you can able to restrict that, okay, into the profile injection. Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you will be selecting that data flow detail, and you will be selecting whichever the data flow is. Okay, the data will flow, but when you are doing the unification, okay, that data that you have filtered, right, so it will not be in the profile will not be created in AEP, but the record will be there. That's it.
Mm.
Have I addressed your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? So before we move on to the actual topic.
No.
Okay. Okay. Now that, okay, so you are well good enough in terms of the schema. Okay, one point. Okay, before we end up the schema, before starting off with anything, okay, there is one point, okay, which Adobe and Adobe Experience League will not talk about, and then I am going to talk about with the experience. Okay, one point that I want to say to you is around, okay, when you are creating the relationships, okay, okay, when you are creating a one-to-one relationship or one-to-many relationship, there are three factors that you need to consider in order to have this kind of a relationship. Okay, right, when you the first factor is, okay, when you are doing the field group, okay, that is the other fields. Okay, you will be using the standard and custom field, right? So here you will be using the standard and custom field, right? So the first point, that's first point that I am going to say to you, when you are have to consider in terms of the relationship mapping. I'm talking about only relationship mapping. Until now it is shared, right?
Yes, Pawan.
Yes, yes.
Everything is fine.
Okay, so I'm talking about only the relationship mapping. Okay, so here when you are creating the custom, okay, so in the custom, right, so you will be having the behavior, record, and time series. Okay, so when you are preparing the relationship mapping, always make sure that, okay, so whether that record is connected to, means like the relationship is connected to record or time series. Okay, and then it should be identical in the both the behavioral aspect. Okay, both the
So,
yeah.
when do we create relationship first of all?
Okay, so
Like individual profile, I know when it is an
yeah.
profile data. Next is if we have event related data. The
Mm,
third one, when do we use it?
okay, the third one, so I am saying around, okay, I'm searching for email. Okay, email as an identifier. Okay, this is
Mm,
the custom field group. Okay,
mm, mm,
so this custom namespace or custom field group, whichever it is, right? So I am going to tie with the email ID. I am going to tie with the email of another field. Like for example, say here coffee lover is there. So if I am doing the cross function, means like cross selling. Okay, for the cross selling strategies, okay, that you will be utilizing this kind of an relationships. Okay, so how you will be doing that is that, so when you are when you are utilizing any kind of an this thing, so you are going to have an ad relationship. Okay, in terms of the ad relationships, okay, you will be defining one to one or many to one
mhm,
associated with okay, so like you will be saying one to one, and then so which schema that I want to give. Okay, for example, say retail audience schema, right? If I click on apply, the identity field of, okay, this schema, okay, is tied up with the untitled schema that is already been provided. Okay, so and then which field that you need to do. Okay, for example, say there is no fields, okay, in the retail audience. Okay, let me take the AJO XE events. Okay, and then apply the thing, right? So this identity field, whichever the identity field is there, right, it is string. Okay, and then the identical also you should have that field attribute which you are mapping is in the common data type like string only. Okay, so then only so your one to one or one to many will be in a successful state. Okay, and then so if it is a record event, if it is a time series event, what if suppose this schema xdm coffee lovers product lover is a time series event. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, it contains only the time. Okay, it doesn't contain the event data, so it contains the event timeline. Okay, at that time, so what you need to do, right? So at that time, so when it contains only the time, okay, only the time, okay. So at that time, so you need to always reference, okay, always reference the time series of the data, not the record series of data. Okay, so that's
Uh,
what.
I
Yeah.
didn't understand that. What is it?
Okay, see, when
When
you
do we
are
use time
creating,
series?
yeah, so when you are creating a relationships, okay, one to one or one to many,
So
okay.
why will we create relationship? Like, what is the purpose of using relationship?
Okay. To answer this question, so why we are going to have a relationships? Um,
Like, give me a use case. Why do we create
yeah,
a
yeah,
relation?
yeah. I'm going to give you a use case. Just give me 1 minute, yeah. Okay. So, for example, sir, our honey banking is there, right? So, for example, say here, here, um, for example, say I am mapping it to the product field. Okay, for example, say there is a credit card customer, and then I want to have a mapping of whether what is the credit score of him, right? Right, that's credit score is some other schema or some other database. Okay, I want to connect to the external system, right? So here I will be doing the one to one mapping in between the two schemas, and then so know which is that. So it is like a left inner join or left outer join, right? So in SQL, so it is left inner join or left outer join, right? So and then it will be joining that way, joining that attributes, right? What are the schema that contains, right? So for example, say okay, for example, say if for example say schema 1 contains, okay, um money, okay, money in dollars, okay. So for example, so this is the attribute, okay, and then I want to have, okay, for example, say I want to pay to another hospital, okay, which is in US. Now what happens in the sense, like transfer schema will be happening in the transfer schema. So I want to convert the dollars into um like rupees or which or euro or something likewise, right? So I will be taking the convert, okay. So in this I will be having a connection or one to one connection, so in between the variable. So even it is an attribute to attribute, so it is an one to one connection, right? So and then so why, what is the need for relationship for in the schema, in the sense in order to have a joins, okay. Simple answer is that, so like relationships allow you to use one data type as a lookup table for another, right? For example, say this money that you have entered, okay, I will be converting that like for example, say $1 is equals to 48 rupees. Let's take an example, right? So that 48 rupees, so it referenced from some other schema, and then so it will be doing the calculation here, okay. So that's why I'm saying, so it is a lookup table for another schema, right? So it will be relationship. What is the need for this is like the, it just like it's a relationship between the two schemas, and yeah, so schema relationships in the data model will be increasing some kind of an traction in between the two data sets or two schemas or something likewise. Yeah, I hope
So
you understand, right? Yeah.
Pawan,
Yeah.
so when we create data sets, okay,
Mm, mm,
by using primary key or secondary key,
mm.
that is also a mapping, right?
When
Where we are using a primary key, and by that we are doing an inner join or a left inner join. Sorry,
yes.
inner join, not left inner join, inner join.
Okay,
So
when
that is also a one to one mapping, right?
Yes, on the data sets you are doing that. Okay, on the schema
No,
level are you doing?
no. So this is only for schema level.
Yes, on the schema
What is the
level.
benefit of it?
So, what is the benefit of this? There is no identical benefit, but in my projects, okay, I'll tell my experience.
Huh.
Okay, so in my project, okay, when I am working with one of the product-based company, okay, so
Hmm.
that is the client project. Okay, so we have the customer schema as well as the sales interaction schema and lead scoring, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, in the lead scoring mechanism, so when we
So
are
three
sending,
different schemas are there. Matlab.
yeah, three different schemas. I'm just
Hmm.
taking an example. There are so many. Okay.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but in these three different schemas, so if I have to have a lead scoring model, okay, that means that who is the probable relevance of the customer, and then so what is the probability of the sales interaction calls, okay,
Hmm.
like likewise, okay, these are the models. Again, we will be doing the modeling, okay, and then that model will be converted as an attribute like 96 percentage, 97 percentage, okay, or
Hmm.
something likewise. Okay, so here what we will be doing is that, so we will be stitching that in the schema level to the person id, right, to the person id. So we will be stitching that in the unification or something likewise, such that so the data will be in the profile unification, and so it will be standard across the entire organization, right? If you are doing at the data set level, so it will be at the only the data set level, right? Two data sets that you are merging. So for example, say tomorrow I may come up with another data set like market or data set, that will not be applied to market or data set. If you want an organization to be benefited on the whole global, okay, then utilize the relationships in AEP. Or if you have a short term goal of utilization in what we call data sets, okay, I just need the data set, use a SQL command, and then so you can able to do it that, okay, in the query section. So whichever it is identical, you can able to do it. Okay, it's as per the use case, but here the use case of this is banking is a global organization. Okay, you like the data sets will be automatically streamlined, or it is an injection. Okay, but as a global organization, I need to connect to the customer to the savings account, I need to connect to the credit card account. Okay, so then these relationships will be useful. Okay, and at the data set level or the record level that you are injecting, for example, say if there are 100 customers to you, like you need to define 100 left inner joins or left outer joins in the data data set that I am talking about. Okay, right, if you define that in the schema level, so it applies to all the 100 customers, right? Yeah, that is the major benefit. I
Okay.
can
So what I have understood is, if there is only two data set, then I can go by this normal data set method. But if
Yeah.
there are more than two, like three, four schemas that is there, then we can go to relationships and we can do it.
Yes, yes, true. Okay, in architectural language, it is a scalable model. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is
Hmm.
known as scalable model, matlab building
Scalable
relationships.
model. I'm just mentioning that it's a scalable model. Okay, there are a lot
Okay.
of names. Okay, um,
Okay.
my company calls some other name or something like that, but it's all relationships. That's it.
Okay.
Data mapping and relationships. Next, last thing. So before we go up with the
So in
this,
data mapping, this one to one, one to many is also part of data mapping, right?
yes, yes.
So what is one to many then?
I'll explain. Okay,
Okay.
I'll explain. Okay, so I'm coming in something. Okay, so for example, say here is there, right? So the tips that I can able to give you in the start of the project is like enforce the consistent keys. Okay, means like when you are doing any streaming or batch or one to one or something. Okay, so you enforce the consistent key, means like normalized email or lower cost or hash mobile. Okay, that means that your primary field okay, should be globally accepted. Okay,
Mm,
whatever you said, okay, in a schema, one schema is equals to one primary field. Okay, you cannot define double primary keys in one schema.
mm,
Okay, so you need to have a consistent keys in the two schemas when you are doing the relationships. Okay, like for example, say email id should be there in the second schema also. Okay, otherwise it will not stitch, right? Otherwise that relationship will not happen. Okay, it will give some kind of a weird numbers. Okay.
So, Pawan, how should we analyze that? What should be the primary key? Because until now we have not even seen the data. So, what should we do to understand that in if there are four schemas,
Mm,
then let's say I have four data coming in.
mm,
One from CRM, one batch, one streaming, and one, let's say, kiosk.
mm.
Okay, so there are four different data set coming in. How will I understand what should be the primary key? Do we have any shortcut or tips, or we should have to first create the schema and then decide?
Mm. When a project comes to us, okay, we will be billing for erd. Okay, that is the enterprise relationship diagram. Okay, so that
No.
erd will be developed, okay, in between the client side. Okay, if I am talking about the enterprise, and then so me as an actor over there. Okay, so and architectural, there will be an architectural and then the project planning perspective, right? So
Hmm.
architecture and then the project planning, so is the job that he will be doing this erd and then deciding on the primary key biased on these two factors. One is the stitching field. Okay, I'm talking about the stitching field and not the primary value or something likewise. Whatever the stitching is there, okay, that and the stitching field should have a common data pattern. Okay, common data pattern in the sense like, let's take the sampling. Okay, for example, say you will take 10 in one data set and another in 10 in something. Okay, and then you will be seeing the sampling. Okay, and then if the sampling ratio is more, okay, more than 80 percentage, then it is considered as a primary key. Second tip or second thing is the business consideration. Okay, so what exactly the KRA of the business? Okay, key resource alignment of the business in terms of what to achieve. Okay, for example, say in my company called Apple, like the client company. So Apple One, okay, they want to have a subscription. If the KRA says that Apple One has to have like Apple IDs. Okay, Apple One IDs has to be increased by 10% year on year. That is the KRA. So for that, which one I need? Okay, Apple One ID is the primary key, right? So for example, say if Apple One IDs or something like, I want to have fetch the revenue model increase by 5 percentage every year on year, then what will happen? So then I need to take the primary key as that, and then
Hmm.
it is a b2b or something likewise. So the revenue lifting, so revenue lifting is the kind of it, this thing. And then so we have R BAU. Okay, RAU
Okay.
is important metric that I will be using. Okay, and BAU is the another important
Business
metric
logic.
that I will be mapping it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
basically, the primary key is been defined by the client beforehand itself.
It depends. It depends. Okay. One is the client. Okay. The first step is
So if
that.
I
Okay,
look at the BRT document and the relationship document, I will be able to see what are the
yes.
primary keys.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So let's say
Yes.
I'm moving into a new project. I should ask these questions, before starting the project, so
Yes.
that I will
Where is
understand
the
the
ERD?
architecture of
Where
it.
is the ERD? That's it.
Hmm.
It depends the entire thing. Okay. So, and then the business, for example, say in startup companies, okay, I worked with the startup company, they don't know what is ERT also. Okay. So for them, so I'll ask, okay, what is your business value? Okay, what is your business driver? From there, I will be defining the primary key.
Can you show me one example in Google?
Mm, okay.
ERD, how does it looks?
If you see here, so this is the kind of a ERD diagram, right?
Can you
So,
maximize it?
yeah. So after this, so no questions, Saurabh. Okay, so I need to finish my schedule. Yeah, we can take up later. Yeah. So, for example, say ATM use case is there, right? ATM is coming into the experience event, and so here they have defined the one to one or one to many or something likewise. Okay, you can take a look at it. Okay, and you can able to take it forward. So with one,
So here, see this, the one which are in red color, these are the primary keys, right?
these are the primary cases.
But you said no, in one schema there will be only one primary key.
See, one primary identity only, right? Okay. So here
Yeah,
identity will be different. Okay. The secondary identities might be 100. Okay. But
okay, okay. I didn't see
have
that. It
only
was very
one
small from
primary
here.
identity. That means
Okay,
that if there is only one Saurabh, so there will be only one Saurabh. Okay.
got
It's
it, got
not
it.
that, okay, I am a godfather, I have 100 replicas. You can have
Okay,
100 replica, but only one unique will be acting as a primary identity.
sure,
That's what
got
is
it.
the statement.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now coming into our this thing, okay, where we are. Amritesh, are you lost or
No, no,
like
no.
following?
Yeah, I'm
Are you
following.
okay? So what I am trying to say is that, okay, so these are the two tips. Okay, one is the injection lags and error rate. Okay, so always make sure that the injection lag should not happen. Okay, that means that so when you are doing like this is common across the industry, that okay, I have used a connector. Okay, I have asked the data to come, but when you are seeing after 24 hours, okay, you will see the injection lag. You will not see the activation. You will not be seeing the this thing. So always make sure that so you monitor, okay, 2 to 3 times, okay, of the injection lags and then the error rate, and then it should not go beyond 10 percentage. Okay, 10 percentage is the industrial standard practice, but it should not go beyond 10 percentage. That means that if it is 10 percentage, then the data sampling ratio or the data accuracy, okay, is a question mark. Okay, so as per the industrial standards. Okay, so these are the things that I want to tell about the injection pipelines. So pipelining is something like you will be injecting the pipelines, and then so you can able to use it. Okay, in terms of that, okay, in our AEP, so we have OTP connectors that are there in order to have a pipelining. What if I don't know, I don't have the injection pipelines, right? For example, say, right? So here sources and destinations are there. Fine. Okay, I can able to connect it. Okay, everybody, even a small kid can also able to do that. What if there is no connector at all? There is no connector at all, okay, that I want to send it to some other destination, or I want to get it from the source file. Okay, so how you can able to do that? What if for example say you don't have connector called integrate? Okay, there are so many. Okay, you don't have connector to Databricks. Okay, you don't have any connector to some other like your Google Sheet. Okay, your Google Drive. Okay, or you don't have connected to your own laptop or CRM. So what you will be doing? All right, so you don't have connectors, right? So this is the another probable reason, so that I am taking here. I'll take 3 minutes from here, and then I'll be moving into the practical, right? For example, say if there are no connectors that are available. Okay, for example, say if there are no connectors, always make sure that so it is a streaming connector or a batch connector, right? If it is a streaming connector or else a batch, okay, how the function will be, right? Integrate is a kind of a mechanism, okay, integrate or something, okay. Integrate is a something like, okay, so that is kind of a streaming connector, okay. That means that so for the residential and commercial building, so here my gate is there. So in some other countries, so this is a kind of a building gap, okay. So just like my gate, okay, if I want to connect that, okay, you need to always make sure that, okay, so uh, you should always make sure that, okay, if it is a streaming connector, always utilize http api, right? So always utilize http api, okay. And whatever the connection that you will be seeing, right? So I'll be using some other, okay. Right now I will be using the triple data, okay. Triple data is something like, okay, so this is something like, okay, connector, it's an operating system for the group benefits of the insurance providers, right? So in that way, so I will be connecting it to it, okay. Let's take this as an example, okay. Already I have connected, okay. So here what I have done is I have selected the streaming endpoint, okay, and I have connected it, okay. I have connected it with the kind of an audience that I want to send it, okay. And then I will be uploading the JSON format. You are not getting my point, right? So when there are no connectors that are available in AEP, means like, so for example, say I want to connect to this triple data, okay, just an example, right? For example, say I want to connect to the Confluence hub, okay. So have you like Confluent hub, okay, I want to connect into the Confluent hub. How I will be doing is that, so I will be taking the API, okay, API of this Confluent hub, and then so I will be injecting the data by means of the HTTP API, okay. So because it's a streaming connector, okay, streaming connector, so I will be adding the data, okay. And I will be selecting the whichever the connection is, and once after the connection is okay, I will be sending the JSON format, whichever the JSON format that I have, right? So for example, say I want to send this data to this streaming connector, okay. So by using the HTTP API, so I can able to get that data, or I can able to send this data, and you will be selecting the existing data set, whichever the data set that you want to send it. So the target data set that you will be doing, that means that so you are pulling the data from there, okay. And you will be just clicking on next, okay. And then here you will be mapping that, okay. Here you will be mapping that. Mapping will be covered after 5 minutes. So right now please like please follow the session, okay. So and then click on next, right? So once after you click on next, what will happen in the sense, so from the schema mapping, so I want to get that scribble data into the system, right? So it will be established by that, okay, if there are no connectors, okay. And the second way of doing that is by using the Python notebook, okay. By using the Python notebook, so you can able to build that, okay, the kind of and how we can able to do that, right? So let me notebook, okay. So this is the last theory, okay. So this is the last tip for today, and we can able to take it forward 1 minute. Why? Okay, so let me pause the screen. Your you can able to practice your this thing, and then so make it okay, make it as a success factor. Okay, so you can take this code. Let me copy paste.
Or else upload as a file.
Upload as a file. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I will be writing in this. One second. So now you have understood, right? So what I am going to achieve is okay. I don't want to go in a practical what we call what is there in the method. Okay, I want to go it in the kind of an how we can able to establish okay in terms of the longer perspective. So it's not for you for a shorter being or something like this which I will be providing you the workflow or something. So it is for the longer turnaround that I am working on. So schema I will be opening and then sending it to you. Okay, so this is another way. Okay, so this is another way, right? So now now coming into our practicals. Okay, nothing else. Okay, see here. Okay, yesterday we have thought of okay the data streams, and then so I am skipping away the schemas. Is it okay, or I should repeat the schemas again? What for you, Amritesh?
Pawan, where did you share the file of the code?
um, it's not coming.
Mm-hmm. Amritesh, have you received it?
No, never said it.
We are now.
Now it is uploading.
Okay.
Yeah, I received now.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, if you see here, please delete the bearer token, please.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So, one way of doing it is, okay, either you can able to do it by means of this so OTB. There are no OTP connectors or something like that. So this is another way of doing. Okay. So I just given you an example. Okay, how you can able to streamline the destinations as well as the sources like this. Okay, either by means of the code or either you can able to establish by means of this thing. Okay, now I'll be ending up with one point. Okay, this is very most crucial point which most of the people, even I asked who has 10 years of experience in that he could not able to answer that question. Okay, he has 10 years of experience, and then so he came for a job or something, and then so I asked him basic question. Okay, nothing else. See, see, brother, his name is Pranam. Okay, so I asked him basic questions. So while at the interview, okay. So what I have asked him is like, okay, when you are doing any kind of a function, right? Okay, whatever you do, right? Okay, you mentioned that okay, if Adobe works on the RESTful APIs. Okay, can you show me live? Okay, that okay, this is working on the RESTful API. Okay, that is a simple question that I have asked. Okay, the answer that I have expected from him is like, okay, so if we are going into the API or something likewise, if he can able to show me the GraphQL, okay, where it contains the authorization code, and then so which will be automatically generated by Adobe, okay, for each and every request. there will be an authorization code automatically generated by Adobe, and then so it will be automatically synchronized in between the platform to the client. Okay, so let us expect, okay, graph.gl, right? If you see here, okay, this graph.gl, okay, is allowing the headers, okay, these are the response headers, and so it is allowing the all the kinds of a controls, okay. And then so if you see here, okay, the maximum age is 3600, okay, and the request id will be automatically generated by the system. For example, if I want to change it, okay, so I cannot change it, okay. So but in the developer console, developer.adobe.com, you can able to change your own request id, okay. But here when it is generated by Adobe, so that the Adobe will not be doing that, okay. And then the raw handles, whichever the raw handles are there, right? So you can able to check the beta token authorization glib, okay, whatever you see in the call command, so it is automatically generated, and then so there is no need for anything, okay. And then you can see, right, exe app, that is generated by enterprise. XE means I forgot, okay. I forgot. E means enterprise, okay. That's what I know. XE I forgot. Yeah, I forgot this. This is an unique identity or unique API key that will be generated by Adobe itself. So this authorization key is there, right? This will not be uh, this will be unique for just 24 hours, okay. After that, so it will be vanishing or else it will be changing. But if you apply this, okay, to our developer.adobe.com, they where you will be exactly getting that, right? It will never match, it will never match, because this is automatically generated by system, and that system will automatically synchronize with the unification, and accordingly it will be generating the graph gear, okay. Graph gear, okay. So that is the kind of a question that I have asked, and then so this is the answer, okay. Last thing, okay, last thing before we could move on, okay. So you mentioned, Pawan, you mentioned about, okay, the injection and then the other things, right? So now that I am coming into the picture, okay, what is a payload? Okay, what is a payload? Right? Any guesses or any questions? I asked this for a 10 years guy, okay, so I didn't get that answers, okay. Like if the payload, who will decide on the Adobe payload? Who will decide on the Adobe payload? That Adobe payload has to be sent like this format or like this format. Who will decide?
I think ideally with Adobe Analytics, payload will have all the information, whatever data is coming in, which environment it is there, which report suite it is there. Every detail will be there in payload.
Yeah, okay. So, but in AEP, it is somewhat different. Okay.
Okay.
In AEP, it is somewhat different. Okay. The payload that you are talking about in the Adobe Analytics, okay, is the same, but here there is a minor difference in the payload. Okay. So whatever you do right, okay, whatever you do right, it is converted to the metrics.sdk.js. That means that, okay, internally AEP has one SDK, okay, that is called AEP SDK, like not web SDK or something like this,
Your
okay.
software development kit.
Yeah, software development kit. AEP has a metric SDK, which you cannot able to see. Even I cannot able to see. Even the Adobe Analytics cannot be able to, like even the Adobe engineers cannot able to do. In the product itself, okay, there is a module, okay. While building up, when I am working with Adobe in 2018, so as an COE lead, okay, that is the Center of Excellence lead, so I learned this, okay. So Adobe has a whole, as a package, okay, where it will be distributed by Kafka, okay. So inside that, okay, there will be a kind of an inner packages or what we call the query packages. Okay, that query packages are the backbone for this AEP. Okay, query package in the sense query CL or something is there. Okay, and then in that one file is metric SDK. Okay, inner. Okay, that will decide on the what log should be coming forward, what log should not be coming forward. Okay, and then what kind of a rules that I need to send. Okay, what is the payload that I need to send. Okay, so and then so it will create a log file for every request route. In Adobe Analytics or something like that the log file will not be sent out as a sorry, the payload will be sending out on the browser, but here it will be sending as a log. You can see, right? Log. Can you able to see here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that is the major difference in between the Adobe Analytics as a product versus our product.
But
Okay,
what is that? That log? I didn't
uh,
understand.
that what I can able to say that a log file will be created for any request.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
that
it like an image request
yeah,
that we?
it is in Adobe Analytics with the image request or something. Here there
Mhm.
is no image request or something.
So what
Entire
is log? Matlab, what detail we will have in log file?
it will be like how I can able to say in the data dog, so we will be seeing. Okay, so this log file, what exactly this log file is having, and then so what is the user, whether he is following the security considerations or not. So we will be using an external data dog. Okay, so from Kafka we will be getting a kind of a data dog request. Okay, so data dog is something like mm, so there I will be getting the real time monitoring. Okay, so I can able to see what kind of a development that is there, and then so I can able to see that. Okay, so what exactly is coming in. So at this point of time I don't have answer to that. Okay, where it will be stored. Okay, generally it will create a log file and then store it in somewhere. Okay, not like an image request or something like so which you will be sending to Adobe for processing. Here there is no processing, it will be storing as a log file, that's it. For any request it will be storing a log file where it will be stored, so even we don't have the visibility that's inside the product. Yeah, this is the only one sentence here in between Adobe Analytics and with respect to the payload. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now moving to our actual agenda. Okay, so how far so good or is it boring?
No,
No,
it
no,
is.
this is very informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody will say what is there in the experience league or something. So I'm not the guy. So who will tell? Okay, follow this or follow that. Okay. So I'll be telling you with the valid data sets. Okay. Now two things. Okay. So here it is not a theory. Okay. Now it is connected. Okay. It is connected to the practical that I am going to do right now. Okay. So here you see right in the data lake. Okay, data lake storage and data lake retention. Okay, and profile retention. What is the difference in so this one is very important for me. Okay, in the practical please kindly listen out. Okay, so in the data set, right, so you have the data lake retention and profile retention. Okay, so first question, who will define this? Second question, what are the factors of the data lake retention versus the profile retention? Third question, so will data governance will be affecting on these data sets until unless you define that data governance aspects.
Hmm. Oh, first of all, what are these? Like, what is data lake retention? What is profile
Okay,
retention?
okay, okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So in the data lake, data sets, right? Okay. So here, entire data lake, okay, entire data lake, whatever you store, okay, is in the XTM format. And then that XTM format will be stored in the data lake. Okay. So it is called the data set. All the data sets, okay, which are residing backend is the data lake. It's like my Microsoft Azure environment is hosted on the Microsoft server. In the same way, all the data sets will be hosted on the data lake. Understood? So this is
Yes.
called the data sets. Okay, events coffee. It is hosted on data lake.
Hmm.
Okay, either it may be Azure or either it may be Adobe, whatever it is, data lake, right? So data lake retention in the sense how many years this data lake should be retaining, okay, or something likewise. So how many years or how many retentions, okay. What I can able to say, it's an easiest to
Time
be,
frame.
yeah, time frame. Okay, thanks. Okay, time frame that, okay, this has to be retained. So and then the profile retention in the same way. So what are the profiles that are there, right, in this? Okay, how many years that it should be residing? Who will decide that? First question. Okay, second question, are the data governance is that, okay, so we will be deciding on the data governance aspects, right? So who will be deciding, or else what will be the effect that will be happening? Okay, the third question is around, okay, will there will be any impact if we are if we have a data retention score of around 2 days? If I define it as 2 days, then automatically what will happen to the data sets? Three questions. Okay, let's come one by one. Okay, so in the data lake retention, right, so that retention period will be automatically calculated. Okay, and then so it will be generated in the audits. Okay, so in the audits you mentioned that the log files, what will happen, right? So here we will have the user level audit. Okay, from the organization perspective, might be the people, the Datadog team or something likewise, they will be extracting the log of the entire organization. Okay, might be. Okay, so we don't know that, okay, where it will be stored or something like this, we don't have the visibility. In the same way here also we have the data lake. Okay, from the data lake perspective, so we have these audits. Okay, what are these audits in the sense, it will be storing, so whatever the activity that you are doing, right, so it will be storing all the activities. Okay, now coming into the question. Okay, so you will come into the data data lifecycle request. The first question that I have asked you is data lake retention. Who will decide on the data lake retention? So here somebody from your team or anybody who will be deciding as a data officer, okay, will be deciding on the data lifecycle. Okay, they will be simply requesting that, and then so they will be simply making a statement like when it has to be deleted, when it has to be included. Okay, or likewise, so if you want to delete that, okay, so you come to the data lifecycle request, and then you can able to delete the records. Okay, records. Okay, next is the data set. If you want to delete the entire data set, okay, Pawan, you mentioned that, okay, you can able to delete this entire data sets from this folder, right? Okay, I can also delete over there, right? Okay, what is the need for me to come here and then I need to create a life cycle request, right? So this this life cycle request are most efficient, and then so somebody at your team or the data officer or else the legal team. Okay, in an enterprise, so we have a data legal team, right? That data legal team is sole responsible for this data life cycle process. Okay, so why I am coming here in the sense, like, so when you have, okay, to delete the data set or something likewise, and then so you want to delete the data set details without the data set that you have, right? So you can able to request for a permission, you can able to request for a permission, and then such that it will be deleted, right? So you can mention, so somebody should be have mentioned, okay, if you are seeing that, okay, here only I have the data set, right? Okay, I can able to go ahead and then delete from here only, right? So why I need to come there? Okay, that is because that is because of two reasons. Okay, whatever the data set that you are created, or whatever the data set that you have created, okay, will be on the UI, okay, will be on the UI, okay, and then so until the audit log is getting generated, so this will not be under the force. Until the audit log is getting generated, so it will not be under force. Okay, in the same way, okay, in the same way, okay, the data lifecycle requests are there, right? So it will be decided, okay, it will be decided by someone. So how many years it has to be there, okay, and then what is the storage, okay, what is the profile storage, what is the profile retention. So somebody will be defining all this, okay, so somebody will be defining all this, okay. The coming into the second question. So yeah, I think the second question might be like, so who will define? Who will define? I have told you. Okay, the third question I forgot. The second and third question. Uh, Data lake retention, profile storage. Okay, so if I delete the data set from here, whether I can able to have a clean of the profile storage. I'll just go here and then so I'll be deleting this. Okay. So I'll click on delete. So whether all the profiles will go.
So if you click on that delete, whatever data set that has been created, that data set will be deleted.
I'm
If it
talking
is not
profile.
only, the only condition is it should not be enabled by profile.
Yes. Yes. It should not be enabled by profile. And so the profile, for example, say Ramu is a profile over there. Okay. And
Hmm.
then so I want to click on delete. Okay. I will be deleted. Whether Ramu can able to have a uh, like he's a record, right? That Ramu, okay, before the merging, okay, he came into the system, right? So after merging, so think of two possibilities. One is before merging the union schema, he came into the system. The other is after merging, he came into the system, right? That means that so after unification, he came into the system. Before merging, so he came into the system, right? So that profile, Ramu profile, will never be deleted. Okay, it cannot be deleted. Okay, once you enable the unified profile, okay, Ramu profile will not be deleted. Okay, once you enable the unified profile, and then so once you have told that, so it is a profile, if you click on the profile, right? So these are the small questions that I have asked while in today's interview. Okay, so and then so I didn't get the answer, but I thought of telling it to you this thing. Yeah, no
But
problem.
Pawan, then here, what is the use of profile retention? So, if my profile is not getting deleted,
Hmm.
then why do we have to retain the profile?
Okay, there are two instances. Okay, so why we have to mm, do the profile retention, right? So let me explain you in this context. Okay, the retention period of a profile service, okay, only can be updated in 30 days. Means like Adobe can be having the profile retention of 30 days, right? So in the data lake, so if you are using the TTL, okay, so if you are using any kind of a retention period or something likewise, so once for example, say Ramu has came today, okay, and So for 30 days, the 30 days you cannot able to request Ramu to go off. Okay, means like, so you have deleted the profile, and then the retention period of that is 30 days. Okay, so now addressing your question, why I need, one second please. Okay, so why I need the profile? Okay, so when you are creating a registry service, okay. So registry in the sense, okay. So I have taught for a minute and then came back. Okay, when you have created the registry in the profiles, okay, then when you are going to delete this, okay, um in the data set, okay, data set, you are going to delete some of the profiles by using the query or something, right? So already you have a profile id, okay, already you have a profile id that is getting created, okay, right? You have done the merge policy and then everything. So when you are doing that, okay, again it will be a redo operation for this profile. Okay, it will be a redo operation for this profile, and then so you will have a engage. Okay, you will have a engage like an opportunity. Okay, engage like an opportunity, right? Coming to
Can you
address
can
your,
you can you repeat, Pawan? I didn't understood.
okay, this is larger context. Okay, so when I delete a profile, okay, and then the Adobe definition of the retention period is, so it stays in my system for 30 days. You have deleted the profile entire data set, okay.
Hmm.
Adobe is saying that, okay, my retention period or something likewise is 30 days. My profile retention period is 30 days.
But you said
Okay.
I cannot delete profile data set.
Yes, profile dataset you cannot, for example, say, let us take this schema, any one schema,
Hmm.
right? So I will be taking this age record schema, okay, or email ID, BCC record events, whichever it is, okay. If you enable the profile, okay, you cannot delete the schema at all. Okay,
Correct.
only the thing is you will be doing that. Now I am coming into the data set. Okay, if I am deleting this, okay, for somehow I have deleted this, clicked
Or
on the,
let's say by mistake if I have deleted it
no, wantonly you
purposefully.
have deleted it,
Okay.
and then there is one profile called Ramu.
Hmm.
Okay, you have enabled the unified profile for him. Okay,
Okay.
have
Okay.
completely unified that, and then the time series or whatever it is, he is stitched in the system. Okay, the profile retention period will be in 30 days. Okay, once you hit
Okay.
active delete, okay, and then in the 30 periods, 30 minutes, 30,
Days.
yeah. So that profile cannot be deleted for next 30 days. Sorry, not 30 minutes. It is 30 days. Okay,
30 days. So if I have deleted the
30 days.
profile within
30.
30 days, I can retrieve it back. Correct.
Yes, you can able to retrieve back.
Got
Okay,
it.
and then what if after 30 days, okay, what if that profile has to be going off, okay, then the identities that he has created, right, okay, for example, say this profile id I have deleted it, okay, the identities that he has created, right, like attributes and then the membership and then the source record, okay, it will have a data, it will have a data, okay, but after some days it will be erased, okay, after some days it will be erased. We also don't know when the evaluation will happen, okay. So that is the kind of a thing that I want to explain it to you. Yeah, I hope this is informative. Okay,
Yes.
Okay. Now, okay. So this one is completed. Okay, data sets and then other things. Okay. So now, okay, I'll be coming into the practical. Okay. So you have asked me one question, sir. Okay. So I am showing you to your practical right now only on the screen. Okay. How I can able to retain that profile data, right? I have written some queries which I have copied from the experience link. Okay, I have just copied that from the experience link. Okay, so okay, here if you see here, right? Okay, so what is the snapshot? Okay, what is the profile snapshot or dataset snapshot? Any idea or any guesses?
What is the question? What is a data set snapshot?
What is a fallback snapshot or snapshot? What is a snapshot actually?
Snapshot in general means whatever data that we have, it will have a image kind of a thing of it.
Yes.
Not the entire data, but basically an image. So, for example, when we do a hard reset of our
Mm,
phone usually keep a fallback snapshot of it, so that whenever we do retrieve data from that snapshot, it will retrieve all the data.
yes, you are completely true. Okay. So what I am trying to fetch is okay. So when you are doing any kind of an data or something likewise, the profile, okay, if you are deleting the profile from this, okay, there will be a kind of a image request that will be created for the profile itself. Okay.
Mm.
And then that profile, okay, if that failure is equals to false, okay, if when it will be happen, so it will be happen after 30 days. Okay, it will happen after 30 days. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, and then so it will be just stating that, and then so whatever the hash is there, and then so it will be just giving a kind of a just giving some kind of a what you call last, it will be deleted. And then the identities that he has stitched, right? For example, sir, Ramu is going up. Okay, what happens to the identities that he has stitched off? For example, say he has came to Facebook. Okay, and then so he has came into web analytics or something like this, right? So what happens to that? Okay, profile is deleted. Okay, Pavan is gone from the company. What happens to the other assets, right? What happens to the work in the company? Is it going to stop? For example, say today I have resigned from some my XYZ.
Yeah, yeah, got it. Got it. Hmm.
By submitting that, okay, Pavan is gone. Okay, its role is gone. Okay, Pavan role in that company is completed. Will that company stops? No.
No.
Okay, then what happens in the sense it will work on the FYFO, first in first out order. Okay,
Mhm.
first in first out order. The next profile will be injected to that. For example, say you came from Facebook and other things. There will be a snapshot that you have mentioned. Okay. After 30 days, it will be deleted. Okay. And then so the other action items, right? So other
So,
than
Pawan, basically, this is a backup, right? So, what we are talking about here is basically the backups. So, every backup will be deleted after 30 days. That's it,
yes,
right?
yes.
Understood.
And in the profile, for example, say I have deleted the Ramu profile. Okay. Ramu profile has created lot of identities in the unification or something likewise. Okay. He has came from the Facebook. He has done some XYZ orders. Okay. Like 50 orders or 60 orders. So that other than Ramu profile data set, will all the other attributes get deleted?
So, whatever is stitched to that particular ID will be deleted.
See here. Okay. Wow. Hear me out the question. Okay. This one is real certification exam question. Okay. For example, say this profile ID is created. Okay. And from the data set, okay, from the data set, I have deleted this profile ID data. That
Hmm.
means that all the basic attributes, linked identities, and loyalty details, okay, like entirely I have deleted. Okay, and then he has done some channel preferences or something likewise. So if I delete this profile from the data set, okay, so what happens to all the attributes? What
So
happens to all the attributes, and then whatever the he has created a lot of things, right, events, okay, what happens to that?
I think you mentioned that it will like after editing it will be deleted.
Yes, yes. For example, say if this profile is getting deleted, okay, if profile ID is getting deleted, okay, no problem. So this profile ID remains the same, and then so whatever the linked identities are there, right? This
hmm,
one,
that
okay,
will be deleted.
that will be deleted for this profile and then
Hmm.
regenerated for some other profile.
Okay, so what I have understood is whenever there is an profile ID deletion, right? So it
Hmm.
will basically go back to the previous state where it will only store the event level data,
Yeah.
and whatever linked data or the merged data it had, that will not be there.
Hmm.
Correct. So now the
Yes.
next question is, what about the profile data that it had? So Ramu also had a profile data where it had all the basic attributes like
Hmm.
Ramu's name, Ramu's phone number, Ramu's state, city, basic attributes. So will the basic attributes will also be there?
Birthday and month, it will be
Hmm.
common. Number will be common. And then here Ramu birthday and month is around 1107.
Ah,
1107 will
that's
be
what.
replaced. That's
So
it.
there are two data set, right? One is an event data set, one is a profile data set, based
Hmm.
on which the merge ID or the profile ID was created. Now, after that, you have deleted the profile ID. So when you
Yes.
delete the profile ID, your linked identities are also being deleted
Yes.
automatically.
Yes.
Hmm?
True.
Your channel preferences will also go because you
Hmm.
will not understand from which channel they are coming because it is not an event data. So
Yes.
now in that case, will so basically we are going back to step one where we are created two data set, right? Where one is the event data set, one is the profile data set. So it will
Yes.
have only two data, but no common क्या बोलते हैं common
So
data.
common attributes, or
हाँ.
we can call it like that. Okay. So
Hmm.
it will be the profile ID will be there, BV something, it will be there. But
Hmm.
here instead of Ramu, somebody like Sita will come. That's it. Nothing
Okay.
else. Okay. It will be replaced. It will be
Okay.
replaced. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now, these are very important questions. Okay. So you keep on, like it was been asked by Walmart. Okay. So in an interview. Okay. I explained them. Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
Is Walmart also using AP?
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay. So now in the sources, okay, I have explained you about one connector. Okay. And so when you are connecting, right? So when, for example, say, I want to have, okay, I want to have like Google and then Azure file storage, these are all common, okay. Anybody can able to take it forward, okay. So most probably the people will be asking Service Cloud, okay, Salesforce, and so somebody will be asking about MySQL or PostgreSQL or whichever it might be, right? So what I want to tell you is, okay, so here things we will complete in 2 minutes, yeah, okay. So after that I will have a room for questions, please, yeah. So here there is something called data landing zone. Okay. This is a kind of a data landing zone that is a kind of a streaming connection. Okay. Where you will have a storage facility for entire data. Means like this data landing zone will be injecting the files into the system, okay, on periodically where. So you can mention that, okay, so I have a batch system, right? I can able to inject this CSV file, right? So here we are not going to inject the here we are going to inject the data in the XTM format. Okay, whatever the data landing zone that you have, right? So I will be uploading the file, and then so here I can able to extract the file directly. Okay, data landing zone is also one type of an file distribution system. Okay, file distribution system. Okay, so connection and other things, okay, I will have a workflow, okay, with you after this point that I want to tell it to you. After that, so I will be moving into the practical session. Okay, see, suppose Pawan, you mentioned that, okay, so you have created entirely, okay, and these are the kinds of connectors that you are, and then so how, like I don't know, like I can able to utilize the connectors or something. What if, okay, what if, okay, so what if, okay, if you have a protocol data, means like if you are working for the telecom engineering, I'm talking for not telecom companies, I'm talking about a telecom engineering. For example, say backend of Airtel, okay, is some XYZ company. Okay, backend of Airtel is some XYZ company. So for that, for that, sorry, yeah, for
You can
that, yeah. If you are working on the telecom companies, okay, generic O data is the most common plugin that you need to use. Generic O data. If it is a
Only
telecom
for telecom, or do we have another use case also?
only for telecom, only for telecom. So it is mostly used in the telecom sector. Okay. For other clients, we will not be using this. Okay. We will not be at all touching this. Okay. Yeah. So last one is the one trust integration. See, sometimes, okay, if you see, okay, if you go to the website, okay, so as per the GDPR guidelines, as per the GDPR and then the EU guidelines, okay, so every organization in the world, okay, every organization in the world including me, okay, so has to follow this kind of a criteria like a cookie consent mechanism. So sometimes you see any site, right? If you are going, I accept cookies or I decline cookies. Okay, this is the kind of a cookie consent mechanism. That cookie consent mechanism is something which is related to, okay, AEP. Okay, in order to take the consent from the user. Okay, so let me give them the consent. See here, right? So I decline optional cookies. I accept optional cookies. Okay, this was implemented by me only. Okay, so while back in 2016. Okay, so what happened in the sense like so this EY as an organization, right? So it will be definitely asking. So what if I am declining the cookies? Okay, whether the tracking is possible?
uh,
Ideally, no.
no, no,
Yes.
correct.
It will not happen at all. So once you decline all the optional cookies, okay, and I accept all cookies, all cookies in the sense like so I want to track of all the events or something likewise which you are taking it, and then so I can able to implement that, right?
Yes.
So so here in OneTrust, okay, so previously what we are going to do is like WebSDK. So we need to install the plugin and then write the code. Right now it's as simple as that. Yeah. So I'll be going into the experience.com, okay, and then set up this, and then I can able to implement that in your organization. So by creating a new account, existing account, whichever it may be, account information.
How we will get all this information like post name, access tokens? Because
I think in
in
the one
one
trust
trust,
you can create. Yeah.
no, no. My question is during a sorry, during launch setup,
Mm.
we create some codes. Okay, we write JavaScript codes by which we get the one trust cookie enabled or disabled, whatever it is. We write that in the custom code, and accordingly, it functions. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Correct.
in that we don't do any uh, data, what do you call that, access tokens or something like that. There is
Mm.
simply a library, we install that library, then we go create a rule. In that rule we go ahead and we write the JavaScript code that if accepted then run the code, if declined then dismiss. Okay,
Okay.
and that's how we set the precedence of the rule. How are we doing it here in OneTrust, means in AEP? Do we have to write any JavaScript code for this?
I think the answer is somewhat yes. Okay,
Okay.
so in one trust, okay, so we will be setting up the rules, okay, and so we will be also keeping some kind of a this thing, right? So um
Maybe
again,
I think one in the API, I think see like generally while implementing launch site, you are just accessing the one trust active group variable. It will return whether it is accepted means C002 something.
Hmm.
So
yes,
that value it
yes.
will return. Okay, maybe that API also it will return same kind of value, I guess.
API also will return the same. Yeah, API also will return the same. Okay. So the rest of the things, okay, so I think I have told you about the ETL pipelining and then so what we need to achieve for this bank and then so tomorrow the same time, okay, so our 8:30, okay, we'll meet and then so we can able to close this our honey banking entirely from the source to the destination, sending up of the destination and creation of the profiles and audience entirely. So we will close off by tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope the session is informative.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's why you see so many questions coming in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely no problem. But
Because the
ultimate,
questions that I ask you, right, Pawan, the questions that I ask you, right,
hmm.
trust me, these are the questions which I get within my organization.
Hey, recruit me into your organization. Yeah,
So
okay.
I wish I had so much of power.
Okay, so no problem. Yeah, so this is what it is, and yeah, moving tomorrow. So we will have a kind of an juggling section. Okay, so questions will be taken at the end. Yeah.
Sure.
Uh,
And one last thing, tomorrow when you are going with the session, please focus a lot on profiles and audiences, because that is where we see a lot of
no,
questions coming.
no, audience. That's what I am saying. So audience will be covered. Okay, no problem on that. Profiles, I'll be
The
completing
customer
identities.
section, no, the this customer section, profile, audience, and identities.
Yes.
These three are the questions which majorly I come across with, or the challenges that I come across with.
Yeah, no problem. So you will have entire right. So you have this thing. So tomorrow will be okay. Audience I doubt. Okay, but profiles and identities I can. Okay.
Hmm.
So audience I doubt. Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem. Later we will take it.
Sure. Sure. No problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pawan.
Any referral that you have in that? You mentioned that EJO is there, right? So in Adobe.
Are
Not
you
Adobe.
asking me?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is your question?
So AJO, some positions are left out in the organization, right? In Adobe.
In IBM?
Yeah.
I need to check.
Oh, okay, fine, no problem.
Tomorrow I'm going to office. I'll check.